Hey everyone, welcome to the Married to the Market podcast. I'm Camry Stoffel, wife, mom of 3, salon owner, and full-time realtor with Town Country Realtors.
And I am Chance Stoffel, husband, father, and mortgage lender with Motto Mortgage Preferred Partners. We are married to each other and we are kind of married to the market too.
Before we dive in, a quick disclaimer. This podcast is for content and educational purposes only. We're sharing stories, insights, and opinions from our experiences in the industry.
We also want to disclose that Town Country Realtors and Motto Mortgage Preferred Partners are partnered companies. And yes, we're legally married, just keeping everything transparent so we can stay compliant.
This podcast is where we get real about marriage, parenting, and real estate. The messy, exciting, sometimes overwhelming, but always meaningful parts of life. If you're building a home, a family, or a future, you're in the right place. Welcome back to another episode of Married to the Market, episode 9.
It's 9 already, huh?
I know, yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Yes.
Got to do one a week, so this is week 9.
Yeah. Well,
essentially.
It's week 12. We've had to skip a couple, week 11. 10, 11. Yeah, we've only skipped 2. September's been a little busy month for us, so we appreciate you guys with the patience. But yeah, we're going to kind of just dive in, and today's episode's going to be a lot more just like about our experiences so far and everything. So kind of doing a little bit of a mini episode today. But yeah, it's going to get started.
Cool. Yeah. What's the first topic on the list? The biggest surprise. So that's for Camry, myself, in real estate and the mortgage industry. I think the biggest surprise would be honestly just how hard it is.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. I didn't expect it to be this hard.
Yeah. I just never fully understood the mortgage industry, and I thought I understood the real estate industry. So I was wrong on both. I am a student of the game and have a newfound respect for anybody that's a real estate agent and a mortgage loan originator. So
yeah, there's just like not that people look down on the industry but they always kind of see us like salespeople, and we're a lot more than just opening doors. The schooling is so hard. I don't think I pictured the schooling being as hard as it was.
The tests are very difficult.
Very difficult.
What's the ratio for you? First time passing?
Oh, I don't know. I did know this. Like only 30%.
I think if 30, for me, if you were in the industry like already, it was like 50%. And if you were new, it was like 30.
I have to relook at the real estate one because I think it was low.
And I needed a 75 to pass. And you needed
a 70.
70. Or was you I was a 70, you were a 75?
I was 70. I don't know. No, I had to be 70.
75.
Yeah.
So mortgage loan originators are smarter than real estate agents. Based on that, right?
No.
Can you agree with that?
I think this is such a controversial question because we've talked about it a lot.
Yeah.
And it's always kind of like where ours is harder than yours. But I do remember at one point you're like, Camry, I need to study today because my test is so much harder than yours. I was like, I think you only said that because you're not a good studier.
I'm a terrible studier.
Yeah. I'm a really good studier.
Yeah.
Like I'm a lot better studier than I should be because I have such bad test anxiety. But
no, I have that too.
Yeah. But we passed and we're here today and we've gotten through a lot so far that we actually have experience in it so far.
So both of our answers was it's harder than it should be, but that's the only about getting our license. I mean, day to day.
Even that, it's so much harder than I expected.
Yeah.
And then it's always hard in the aspect of like, we are at home with the kids. And so then we're also at home parenting while we are doing this industry. And it's important things that we're doing, like conversations, calls 24/7, making sure paperwork is right. I mean, this is a huge deal. So yeah, just kind of making sure that and I'm such a perfectionist. Everything has to be done. If I can get it done, it has to be done right now.
It's tough too because you bear the stress of everything, right?
Yeah,
You're ultimately responsible for the success of the transaction. If the borrowers are struggling, coming up with down payments or short on funds or waiting to get paid to pay for the appraisal, like you carry that stress. But then at times you try not to let the borrower know that certain things are stressful. So you try to keep the peace and then just bear the weight of that for them so it's not a stressful experience.
so true.
Yeah,
Yeah, very true. Definitely a job that you take home with you.
definitely. Yeah.
We definitely do. We can't get away from it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's biggest surprise. What about your favorite win?
It's almost hard to pinpoint just one because I think anytime we're getting to the closing table and the paperwork is done, it feels so amazing because then you know that like, everyone's worked so hard to get
Mm,
this, and it's not just a couple people doing their jobs. This is teams and teams of people that have finally got everything just right, perfect. Money's transferred perfectly, and now people are getting in to move into their new home, and that is the best feeling in the world,
yeah.
honestly. Like today, it was like an emotional feeling. I had a closing this morning, and it was just like you hand the keys over, and like that's where their children are going to grow up, and that's where they're going to start settling down and planting roots. So it's emotional
Yeah. Yeah. You've been working with that client for a long time. So
since April.
since April, they've had a baby since then. They've
Yeah,
they've underwent a lot. So
yeah. It's been months, and we finally got it the perfect house, and finally got it closed, and it's been great.
I think for me, my biggest win happened recently, and it was more so just a comment and not a transaction. But I had a borrower tell me he was an investor, and he said, "Wow, so this is how everybody else is like doing it at scale." And for reference, we do DSCR loans, debt service coverage ratio loans,
Mhm.
and it allows people to acquire properties based on the subject property's income opposed to the expenses. So what I was able to do for him was essentially provide him an avenue to provide, or not provide, but purchase properties at scale and do it over and over again to where your debt to income ratio is not a factor, right? So
Wow. Okay.
yeah, so he was looking at buying. He just bought two properties and he wants to turn around and refinance those into fixed rate mortgages. So right now he has adjustable rate mortgages. We're going to be able to do refinances, fixed rate mortgages, do a cash out refi on his primary property that's worth a couple $100,000 more than what he thought it was worth. So that's going to be huge. And his goals are to obtain financial freedom through real estate. So that's huge. And also he was a 1099 self-employed borrower. So he's able to buy rental properties without providing income statements.
Oh, that's huge.
So that was really big.
I feel like so many people talk about that they can't buy because they're 1099.
Right.
And a lot of people don't realize that there are loans out there for them.
Yeah, definitely.
So
For sure.
that's awesome.
Yeah. And he was a barber. So you can relate with
Yeah.
cosmetology. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I've done so much hair this month.
Yeah.
A lot more than I was planning to do, but I just kind of fell into my lap. I had 3 weddings, 3 weekends in a row, and I just saw a lot. So
Hmm.
nice.
About one challenge and lesson learned.
I feel like when I hear this question, it like brings me back to my first showing ever. And it was a rough one.
Oh,
It was a rough one.
that's really rough.
No one I've ever talked to in this industry has ever experienced what I experienced, especially on day one. I was crying. Um, but I was a little naive in the point of like, I didn't know I got my first lead and I didn't quite realize where the leads came from. I expected them to be a little bit more qualified buyers, like "Oh, we're actually looking. We really want to put an offer in." And so that's what I was going into it thinking, not just so much of someone randomly clicking on Zillow and clicking on a home and then it's sending us their contact information because that's a lot of times what happens. So they just said they wanted to see this house and I was trying to get a hold of them, really struggling. So I scheduled the showing with them. I legally, we have 2 documents that we have to have signed before any showing. This just started in January. I didn't quite know. I mean, this is literally my first day. I passed my test a few days before this. This is my first day of real estate, and I just happened to get a new lead. And so I drove all the way to Byesville. If you don't know, it's like 30-minute drive
From Zanesville.
from Zanesville. And so I got all the way there. I didn't have those documents signed yet. And so I had to bring them in person. And I just felt like the biggest salesperson in the world because now, like digitally, I will have the conversation ahead of time and send them via email and have them signed so I don't have to deal with it. But I go to the showing. I'm standing there on the porch. It's raining. It's like a little tiny covered porch. And I have my paperwork. And this man and his wife walk up and just instantly wasn't a good vibe. And I was like, all right, awesome. Like before we walk inside, I do have to have these papers signed. And they start freaking out. And not just a little freak out. I was getting screamed at, screamed at. And I was being called a scam artist and anything under the moon. It was for 10 minutes straight. And I know it was 10 minutes because I only scheduled the showing for 30. And by the time I kept going like this, and by the time I finally looked at my watch, it had been 10 minutes. And before this, I had called my dad to come down the road and sit and watch me in the shower because I was a little nervous. And so he did that and he had the windows down and he could hear them screaming. And so it was a mess. I've never signed these papers before. And the funniest part about it was he said, well, when did this become a law? Because I've looked at many houses and I've never had to sign this. And I said, well, as long as I've been a real estate agent, it's always been the law.
2 days.
2 days. Because I actually didn't know.
We got licensed in
February.
February.
And so I didn't know when that started, but I knew when I had become licensed and I was learning in school that it had just been the law. And so I knew it was new because I've heard people
Right.
about people like getting backlash. But so anyways, I kind of just said, if you're not going to sign the papers, then we have to finish the showing and you're not going inside. Done. And so they're like, this is ridiculous. And so they leave. They're getting in their cars and I'm like shocked. I've been screamed at and I have little tears going down my face. I'm like, it's fine. So I'm putting my papers back in my portfolio. It's February. We're in Ohio. I step off the porch and I slip on ice and I fall all down the ground. My papers go flying. It's pouring, raining. I'm laying there like, oh my God. So I'm getting everything back together. I pick up my phone. I drop my phone. When I go to open my phone, I realized I shattered my screen. And so when I opened it, I sliced my thumb open. Like everything could have gone wrong.
Yeah.
It went wrong. So I called my broker and I was like, I'm really sorry, but like, do I have to keep pursuing this man? Because he just screamed at me and he was like, oh my gosh, no.
Yeah, very unprofessional.
He was like, that was never happened before. I'm so sorry. But nothing will ever top that.
I don't think so. I can't even follow up to that. That's a pretty
So
tough lesson learned. You're supposed to keep that positive.
I can laugh about it now. It's funny. At the time, it was not funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not funny. I felt bad. I'm surprised your dad didn't respond negatively.
Well, he didn't realize. He said, I pulled up and he was like, he goes, honey, did you forget the key? Because he knew that we didn't go inside. And I was like, no, I just got screamed at. And he was like, oh, I had no idea. He heard it.
Yeah.
But he didn't think that that was us.
Mm.
So.
Yeah, live and learn.
Live and learn. Yeah. Be nicer to your realtors.
Yeah. I mean, every day you're faced with new challenges and you learn from it.
I learned something today. Yeah.
It's not like we just have one version of a person coming to you every day with the same questions. Every day is a new question. Everybody has a different scenario, resources available, what they're looking to acquire. I think the biggest challenge I was faced with, though, was probably stuff that's out of my control and with appraisals. We had a property to where it was in a historic district that was in not a great part of town, but the district itself was nice.
Yeah.
And our lender hired an appraiser, and that appraiser happened to come from out of town who wasn't familiar with the area. And what pursued from that was the appraisal came in $60,000 less than the purchase contract price. He was willing to make changes to his report based on comps that we found. He raised his value by 5,000, and that
$5,000.
doesn't help us any.
No.
And
Took a week.
it took a week. The listing agent was upset with me because of the appraiser that was hired. Our buyers didn't get the house because of it, because lenders only lend up to the amount of the appraisal unless you're willing to come in for the difference with cash, and that wasn't an option. So ultimately, we lost the house, and some tough conversations pursued. I mean, the listing agent lost trust in my process, and we had to go back to the drawing board and rework the way that we order appraisers. And now we only allow appraisers to start within 10 miles of the subject property and work its way out. That way you're not having people come from an hour away to come look at a property that's in a less desirable area,
Yeah.
in their opinion. So that was tough.
Yeah. Well, I think just you guys being a new like mortgage broker here in town, I think realtors like you have your trusted partner and they kind of stick with that. But when there are new brokerages coming in, like people, I mean, they're nervous, right? I mean, people are putting a lot of trust in lenders. And I mean, you guys, I mean, you've been great. And you guys are still learning like that, like the little bumps in the road, but like now you've put new things in place that it can't happen again. So I think it just takes like time to get everything figured out and working smoothly. But I think that's for everybody too.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. And the main takeaway for me was that I noticed flaws in the system, and I put things in place to not allow them to happen again. So
Yeah. I think everyone's answer for everything right now is like, well, that's real estate.
yeah,
I hate that so much. That makes me so, and it makes you so mad.
I don't allow that. I just think if there's flaws, I'm going to do everything I can to make my life easier, make everybody else's life easier. So
Yeah.
I look to put systems in place to alleviate stress and not continue to go about what the norm is.
Yeah. Yeah. You've constantly said, like, this might be your normal, but it doesn't have to stay the norm.
Right. Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah. And it'll require more work from me, but I'm willing to do it. So
Yeah. Well, good. I'm proud of you for that.
would you want to talk a little bit about some of the challenges that you've been faced with, and then, um, you know, maybe your broker, how that's benefited you, maybe having a resource to navigate? I mean,
Yeah. I mean,
give a shout out to the man himself.
give a shout out to Brent Glass. If you're listening, here's your shout out.
Yeah.
Um, no, yeah. I work with Town and Country Realtors. There's so many resources that they offer. This this industry is huge on leads, and we're fortunate enough that our brokerage pays for our leads. And so that's been huge for us to grow. And especially being new agents, our brokerage is growing so much this year. I think they started out with, gosh, how many, like 12 agents in January. And then they acquired another brokerage that had 15. And then ever since then, I think we've acquired like 10 to 15 more. So
More agents.
more agents. We're growing really large, and it's been great to see. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. Cool.
Challenges, I guess I didn't answer your question.
No, you don't.
No, I'm
Not at all.
on a tangent actually.
It's okay though.
I think challenge wise, like you said, like there's no one person that's the same.
Mhm.
So every transaction is so different. And I know when I first got started, I told my broker, "Oh, just give me a couple of deals, walk me through them and tell me exactly what I need to do. And after that, I'll be fine on my own." And he laughed at me and he was like, "That's not how this works. Like everything is so different. You're going to run into every obstacle possible in every transaction." And I understand that now. Like no one transaction is different. So there's no way you're not learning something new almost every single day in this industry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you just kind of figure out the new hard and you figure out how to overcome the obstacles and you get to the closing table. So
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
For me, I reference like baseball and having more at bats and upping my batting average. So
Yeah. I've never heard you say
yeah,
that. No.
I reference more at bats. So the team I've worked with, I've had the opportunity to have a fair amount of transactions. I think the industry average per month is like one, and I should have, coming up on 10 in the first like two full months that I've been at it. So
It's amazing. Yeah.
yeah,
The the average agent only closes one I guess average age,
70% of agents only close one deal in probably a calendar year.
1 year.
There's a lot of people that just have an active license but don't transact on anything.
Yeah.
So
Then there's some people that sell millions and millions in 1 year. So, I mean, it's all out there. It just depends on obviously what location you're at, where you're working, and, you know, how determined you are to put the time
yeah,
into it.
what you're willing to sacrifice, and
Yeah.
so you gotta know your number and know your why and what you're willing to give up to achieve that.
Yeah. We got a family to take care of. So we got to grind.
Yeah, yeah. Mama needs a new pair of shoes.
Mama does need a pair of shoes. It is raining outside and I'm wearing suede. So
Poor choice.
poor choice. Yeah. Yeah. I straightened my hair today. Curls are starting to come out, but it's fine. A little bit of a shorter episode today.
Yeah.
I got showings.
Have showings.
I have showings. I have to drive to Stockport, which is an hour away.
It's an
So,
hour.
yeah.
Gross.
Right? Yeah. I better have a good podcast to listen to.
This one's not ready yet. So.
No, yeah. The industry's been amazing. It's got its ups and downs, but ultimately it's always going up. So just like the market.
Is it always going up? Statistically, historically, up and to the right. So
To the right. That's what we like to see.
interest rates are going down right now.
They are going down right now.
Days on market, like I think I saw 44 days. It's about average.
I just had a listing that was on the market for 3 days.
3 days.
And that third day was only because we took like 24 hours to respond to our offer.
Yeah. And your sellers were happy.
Sellers are happy.
Yeah.
I actually have an inspection today. Pretty good.
Good deal.
Thank you guys for listening. Join us next week on our next week's podcast as well. Find us on YouTube and Spotify at Married to the Market, and on social.
I am Chance.thelender.
And I am Camry, Stoffel.tcrealty. And find us on Facebook and Instagram. All right. See you next week.
Peace.
Bye.